I'm Luke. Today on Out of Darts, we are in a new studio. You may be able to hear a pretty severe echo, but we are getting things set up in here in the new warehouse. I thought this was a really good time to sort of give a little progress update and show you around our new space. Now, this isn't the full warehouse tour because we will do a lot more to show this off as we get a little more settled. Right now, we are as fast as possible getting everything dialed in, getting racks built, shelving built, everything in place, and it's been quite a couple weeks. So first of all, I just want to thank all of you for your continued orders and your support. It means so much to myself and my now 6 employees. We have a wonderful team here, and we all couldn't be doing it without you. So thank you for all of your support. We're really excited to get into this new space because, as you probably saw in a video a few weeks back, we were getting pretty packed at the old warehouse. And with the COVID situation and trying to maintain social distancing while we're at work, it was really difficult because we were frequently crammed into small aisles where you have to squeeze by each other or play Pac-Man, waka waka waka, you know, going around the corners. No? Okay. We are so excited to be in this new space. It both gives us the breathing room that makes it a more comfortable, fun place to be. It will bring the studio back to the warehouse, which is something I've really missed because shooting in my garage is just not as fun as being here with the rest of the team. It also got all of our print farm combined into one space, and without yapping too much more here on a blank, boring wall, let's go check out the warehouse. So right now we are up in what is going to be our studio. It's also a little bit of box over storage and a few other electrical components. If I walk over here, you'll see it's obviously very safe at the moment. We've got a railing that we're going to have to build, but ultimately this will be our video studio, our photo studio, and our overhead for tutorial and tabletop stuff here. I think it's going to be a really nice space. I've missed having the videos in the same space as the actual warehouse and the shipping department and the printing. A lot of the times I'll be working on a project and it's this constant battle of, oh, shoot, that's at work, or that part's at home, or I don't have the file for this or the print for this, or I don't have access to this worker part to see if it's compatible. And now we've got everything together, so it should be really nice. Let's head downstairs to where everything is. So our last space had a really small office, and now we've got considerably more room, about 500 square feet. It's considerably a mess right now. We were very organized, but the nature of getting moved and back up and shipping and all of that to make sure we get our orders out to customers fast definitely comes before organizing our little office. But ultimately there will be 4 workstations in here and then kind of a little mini break room area over on this side. But we're thrilled to have enough space where we can all actually be in here and keep some distance from each other and still keep working. The previous space was just absolutely packed. We only had one desk that was really functional as far as sitting down. Everything else ended up just piled up with customer returns and outgoing packages, incoming packages, receiving, and now we're doing our best to get this a lot more organized. Let's head into the actual warehouse. Right over here, this is the main picking area. So your orders in theory they come in, we're gonna print them at a station here. We grab different bins, and then we essentially head out through the warehouse to collect and pick the order. Everything's going to be location tagged and have a specific designated spot, and everything in theory should only live in one place. That way we can stay a little more organized and make the packing a little bit more efficient. Anytime you've got software involved, it's a large amount of effort to get things going. There's a lot of nitpicky little things that need to be done just to get the packing slips and the pick list to print in the right order and to facilitate us shipping these orders faster. We are back up and shipping, so most orders are shipping within 24 hours. We should have caught everything by the time that this video posts. An order would be picked and you go down the aisles, and then ultimately those orders come back to where they are packed. And one of the things we're trying to solve in this new warehouse is that our previous warehouse, pretty much only one person could pack and ship effectively because there just wasn't enough room for 2 people to work. Now we've got a dual system where one person can pack and one person can pick, or 2 people can pick and 2 people can pack. And this will really help us during the holidays to make sure that we're getting orders out to you as quickly as possible. Ashley's working hard here in the background. She's been slaving away all day getting your packages out because we're a little light-handed today. But that's our packing area, so she's getting everything wrapped up to go out to too many acronyms. Let's go down some of the inventory aisles. This is one of multiple inventory and picking aisles. So we've got all of our different SKUs organized roughly by type and by brand to some extent, depending on the brand. But ultimately, the orders get picked in sort of a zigzag down these aisles, and then you return to that packing station we showed earlier. Everything is still very much in process because we have a lot to figure out and actually get organized, and still some stuff that still needs to come out of boxes. This will ultimately be the receiving area where we've got our loading dock side and then enough room to unload up to about a standard size container between empty shelves in the wall there and the floor space. One of the huge problems we had at the last warehouse would be that an order would show up and we literally had nowhere to put receiving. So 50 boxes show up from, say, Worker, and we've got nowhere to actually set them down and sort through them. So it required us to essentially pull a bunch of shelving that was all mobile out of the way, stop shipping, stop everything, and everybody would be all hands on deck to receive. And now we've got designated shelves here where over here, this is all inventory that needs to be received, so we can see our burden at any given point, what kind of workload needs to be done. We're obviously a little bit behind on the receiving right now, but we at least have a place to put it where it's not constantly in our way. As we head over here, of course, we've got more inventory on the left, and then we move into what will be our production department, and this is essentially prep. This is where we're bundling up orders. We've got, all of our various hardware, all of our various tools. You can see we're in process getting these wall bins back up. But the concept here is that each station will be as lean as possible. It'll have only the tools and essentials that it needs for each task. And those tools and parts and other things won't leave that station at any given point. I've gotten really into lean manufacturing recently and lean principles, and it's something that I'm trying really hard to apply to the business as much as possible. The downside there is that you just can't do it all at once. It's a slow process to constantly improve, but the general goal is to just be constantly improving everything we do. And that ultimately is about improving your experience. It's getting packages out to you quicker with fewer errors, getting prepped parts done as promptly and efficiently done as possible, but also making sure that we make fewer mistakes so that you're getting exactly what you ordered as quickly as possible, and all of that ultimately trickles down to the best price possible too. So as we leave here, you'll see we're still working out all the electrical, but this is our print farm. We have 20 more printers that are coming, so next week this will all be filled in. We will be up to 97 printers when these are all settled. They're all Prusa i3 Mark III's or Prusa Minis. So we've got a big range. Right now you can see all the Mark III's are running. We're sort of a little light-handed today, so our team's pretty swamped and not everything's running perfectly, but quite a few printers. We had to actually put in a whole mess of power. So this wall, we've got all these shelves pulled out currently, but this wall's got 13 circuits, 20 amp circuits that we had to put in just for the printer. So it was a pretty big job. Obviously, I hired an electrician to do that. This is commercial, so I wouldn't touch it. I've done electrical in my house, but there's no way I would mess with this. On this wall, we've also got a pretty substantial amount of filament. I think there's about 400 rolls on the wall and up above. And then, of course, a dedicated repair bench and station. And this is where Eric, our phenomenal 3D print tech, does all of his work. We have one person that is solely responsible for all of these printers, and he does a fabulous job. And as much as I like fixing printers, and I do know how to repair them, I have built a couple of the printers from scratch, but it is a big job to keep them all running, and it's a big part of running the farm is having someone that's capable of managing those printers and keeping them all operational. Because ultimately, if they're not printing, they're not earning the company any money, and they're not delivering any products to you. We obviously have some pretty big product launches coming. One is the little rocket system. This is the first hint you're going to see on my channel from it, but you could probably find it on my website if you looked. We will have a video coming up on that soon. But part of this move was getting ready, scaling up the print farm, and being ready for our next product launch. So one other thing that we've been working on with this new space is we did a whole mess of this pallet racking. Now, pallet racking is amazing because, first of all, you can get it reasonably priced considering how large the shelves are. They're incredibly sturdy, they can be bolted to the ground, and they're very modular. One of the cool things you can do with them is use them as workbenches. So it's a little hard to envision this right now, but each of these cells, they're 12-foot bays, and each one of these is a build cell. So each one is for a specific product, and each cell will have all of the components, parts, tools, supplies, accessories, things that are needed to make that product. Now we got this idea from FastCap, who are kind of the lean masters up here in the Northwest. I hope to visit them someday. But they're a huge inspiration as far as laying the warehouse out and figuring out how to do things better. This is a better example of one of those build cells. This is a 12-foot long bay, and we've got workbench, and this is everything for Jupiter. So ultimately what will happen is you'll have your shells here, then you'll choose your grip, and then all of the other components, and it'll be sort of a left to right production line build cell. So you start on one end, you get down to the other end, you'll grab your parts kits, which will all be prepared, and then you'll grab your box, and at the end of the line, you're basically done. And this is going to be nice because what happened in our last place is this station was not only smaller, but it had to share table space and tools with about 50 other products. And when that happens, you get sort of things intermixed, things get mixed up. It kind of messes up the flow, and it makes everything slower. This one over here is likewise another one. This is the Percy's build station, so this is all of the hoppers. Obviously, we haven't built out any of that yet. We've only been here a week, so I'm actually pretty thrilled with how organized things are so far. There's going to be another version of this video which will be much more polished and will really go in depth showing more of the warehouse once it's all actually settled. Thank you so much for watching. Do hit that like video and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. We're going to have a lot more behind the scenes content because you all have made it pretty clear in the comments you're interested in seeing more on that. I would love to do some videos talking about the business side of things and how to start a Nerf business, as well as how we run a print farm and some tips and tricks there as well. I think doing some more 3D printing content in relation to Nerf would also be a great topic, so I think we'll work on some content there too. Until next time, I'm out of darts.
Hey Luke, it's the thing that everyone said would happen. There's one rival round.